At the MGM Grand in Las Vegas on September 7, 1996, Mike Tyson became the WBA Heavyweight Champion of the world in a victory over Bruce Seldon by technical knockout in the first round. Also attending the bout was Tupac Amaru Shakur, the American hip-hop artist. Shortly before midnight, he would become a victim of a fatal drive-by shooting. Why were no arrests ever made for this crime? And what do we now know about who killed Tupac? Tupac Shakur holds the Guinness World Record for selling the highest number of hip-hop albums in the world, 165 million, by rapping with frank language about the pain and desperation of inner-city life. When he was asked if he was a gangster, Tupac said no. He considered himself a thug, because gangsters did not live very long. But the nature of his music drew him into the orbit of the Bloods, one of the two dominant street gangs in Los Angeles. The Bloods wear red. The Crips wear blue. Both gangs were in attendance that night at the Tyson boxing match. After the decision, in the lobby of the MGM casino, surveillance cameras recorded an altercation between Tupac and Orlando Anderson, a member of the Crips. It is said that Orlando started the fight. The men were separated by casino security, and Tupac left to attend a charity event at the 662 Club. He was being driven there by his record producer, Suge Knight, CEO of Death Row Records. Suge may have been a member of high standing with the Bloods. While en route to the club, the midnight black BMW in which Tupac was a passenger stopped at a traffic light on Flamingo Road. A snow-white Cadillac pulled up along the BMW passenger side. From the back seat of the caddy, 13 rounds were fired at Tupac Shakur. He was struck 4 times. One of these slugs penetrated his right lung. 6 days after the ambulance had brought him to a hospital, due to complications following the removal of the injured lung, he passed away in his sleep. The following day, Orlando Anderson was bragging to anyone who would listen that he was the one who had taken out Tupac. Because of the code of silence honored by LA gangs, Anderson was never arrested, and he met his own end 2 years later in an unrelated shootout. The assassination of Tupac Shakur is still believed to have been a paid hit. The so-called East Coast-West Coast rap war was a rivalry between Death Row Records in LA and the label of Bad Boy Records in New York City, which were both in competition for the lucrative gangster rap market. The founder of Bad Boy Records is Sean Puffy Combs, who is rumored to have put out a contract on Tupac with a payoff of $1 million. But the suspects at Bad Boy do not end with Puff Daddy. One of the East Coast label's most popular artists was the notorious B.I.G., also known as Biggie Smalls, once a protege of Tupac Shakur, but they had a falling out. in 1994, Tupac survived a shooting in New York City. He publicly accused Biggie of being involved. Then the notorious B.I.G. released a diss track entitled "Who Shot Ya?", which the hip-hop community believed was a dig at his former mentor. Shakur then released "Hit 'Em Up," a diss track perhaps more brutal, in which he claimed to have slept with Biggie's wife. There is a rumor, printed by the Los Angeles Times, that Biggie bought the gun that slew Tupac. Another suspect is Tupac's own record producer, Suge Knight, who was taking a large cut of the artist's paycheck. Tupac spoke openly about leaving Bad Boy Records for greener pastures in order to retain the rights to the rapper's catalog of music. Suge Knight is suspected of having commissioned the hit himself. The night of the Tyson fight, Suge Knight was seen making a mysterious phone call, and he later insisted that Tupac ride in his car on the passenger side. Suge Knight says the drive-by was planned by Reggie Wright Jr., the security chief at Death Row Records, in concert with Suge's ex-wife, Sharitha Golden. Allegedly, they wanted to gain control of the label, and the intended victim was Suge, not Tupac.